We're going to George Tsilis right away to talk under 30 today, a name I've never looked at before, George, admittedly, but is kind of fascinating. I mean, it's a Chinese-based AI company with, massive growth for this quarter. So walk us through a pretty decent move today in reaction to its first quarter.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because, first off, it's an artificial intelligence company, but their focus point, and it's Chinese-based, as you mentioned. By the way, its focus point is Robotaxi technology services and logistics and transport services using autonomous driving technologies, and it's a company that listed in the publicly traded markets here in the United States back in November of last year. But if you look at the chart over the last period in terms of its trading history, it fell considerably during the sell-off. It hit around $4, and since then, it's just went on a tear to the upside. And the company's actually, if you look at the top line sales growing quite considerably, they only posted around 14 million in sales rounded up. But they are growing the estimated sales double every single year for the next 2 years. Earnings per share for the company, they actually lost 10 cents a share, which was better than the estimated losses. But nonetheless, the company's top line sales over the last year, around 75 million, is expected to be around 82 million by the end of this year, doubling to essentially 150 million next year and almost 300 million in the following year. And if you look at the breakdown of their technology services, the total Robotaxi fleet grew itself by 4.2%. That was the delivery numbers, but they're actually generating revenues from that fleet at around 200% growth on a year-over-year basis, as well as fees that were charged in terms of how that manifests into revenues by 800%. So this company's got a growth story behind it in China. You have to be mindful that is a relatively low in market cap. As of the close yesterday, is around $6 billion, so not necessarily the lowest of the low, but nonetheless, it doesn't have very much short interest. And the company's revenue, like I said, is going to be expected to be around $300 million in the next year and a half to 2 years, growing significantly in an environment, in a regulatory environment in China that's very conducive to testing robotaxi services. What's interesting about Pony itself is they actually focus on the logistics and transports. And if you think about the nature of autonomous driving, great testing grounds are areas where there are no traffic interferences, pedestrians and other drivers. That would include things like ports, airports, luggage carriers, things of that capacity where those autonomous driving technologies can actually operate within a confined environment with no other passenger traffic.
One would think, too, that things will go a little bit quicker when it comes to regulations in China if the technology is there, a little bit more of a command economy from the top. So if Pony AI can position itself as that premier name, kind of a closed economy, obviously a huge addressable market, I guess the bullish thesis writes itself, right, George?
Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously there's a condition of momentum and obviously speculation also in this because, just look at the price action since the third week of April. It was around $4, so it's basically 3x since then. And it is a low market capitalization, but you need to be wary of moves like this if companies aren't generating revenues or if revenue growth is not expected to increase substantially, which is the case here. It is expected to increase substantially. The technology is becoming widespread adopted in places like China. But I actually did a little more research on autonomous driving, and what we're seeing is out of the 5 levels of driving, we're actually in the 4th level now, which means that the first 3 levels are driver-assisted technologies. The 4th level is essentially full autonomy with some interference by humans on certain circumstances, where level 5 is full autonomy. So we're already at level 4. Tesla is, and Pony AI's technology is as well. So for what it's worth, this is a technology that is really taking off in the last year or so on a relative basis to where they were in the past. Maybe also just keep in mind that this company is moving in sympathy with Tesla, which has actually had a great 30 days or so as well.
A great 30 days. More and more so I'm seeing these companies that have had like phenomenal month-to-date performances. So May has been an interesting one to recap, and we still have, I mean, several days left in this month. So we will leave it there.